Hey, everybody, and future listeners and or subscribers. Welcome to Beyond Borders 915. We're your hosts, Drew and Omar. And basically, this is a pilot episode, and we're just going to give a rundown of what this is going to be about and what we're going to be touching subject-wise and kind of introduce ourselves, and we'll go from there. I'll tell one of my encounters, which we've got posted up on Reddit, and we've got a Facebook page up, and, all that other stuff. And I'll let Omar tell a little bit about himself here.
So, hello everybody. Omar here, uh, co-host here for Beyond Borders 915. A little bit about myself. I
Yeah,
want to reveal.
not a lot at all. Like your
Yeah,
name is fine. That you've revealed enough. That's fine. You're Omar. I'm Drew. That's good enough. Uh, but we both live in Texas, and this is so basically the name Beyond
there
Borders.
you go.
The reason that it's called 915 is because we're trying to focus around the El Paso area. 915 is El Paso's area code. And there's a lot of weird stuff, high strangeness that happens in that area because you've got the Mexican border right there, and you've got a lot of culture and folklore from the Mexican people. And then you've got New Mexico there, which has a Navajo reservation. And the weirdness on the Navajo reservation is like beyond belief. You can talk about
That
skinwalkers, you can talk about Sasquatch, Bigfoot, UFOs. You've got Roswell, New Mexico there. You've got Los Alamos. You've got the Dulce base, and El Paso is just kind of like that western part of Texas. So you still got a lot of weird things going on in Texas too. So we figured we'd kind of mesh all three together, right?
yep, yep, that's true. A lot of things, a lot of strange happenings going on in the area itself.
Yeah, and that's another thing we can talk about because I think recently in the past couple of years, like the veil has been thinning. And have you heard about CERN?
Of course, yeah,
Up
the
there in
collider.
Sweden?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, yeah, and so basically what they're doing, I think all of that stuff that they're messing with is kind of thinning the veil too. But we've always had the culture, like if you talk about, because I mean, Omar and I were both Hispanic, so our culture, you've got, our aunts and uncles and grandparents talking about like La Llorona and the little duendes, and you've got like I remember hearing about El Zapotoro, Chango del Agua. You've got
Cabra, yeah.
you've got La Lechuza. You've got all
Mhm.
that stuff. That's all Mexican folklore, and that's not even touching the New Mexican stuff, the Navajo reservation
Mhm.
stuff. And we're close enough, well, El Paso is close enough to it where you can actually interact with some of that stuff too, right? When you go camping or you go camping or just out there in the middle of the night. Um, Not so much over here because I'm based out of North Texas. So we've got our reservations right up by Oklahoma, but nothing Navajo. So anyway, so uh, we're going to try to break it up and just kind of hit on different areas as we go on and kind of collect stories. I've got a handful of my own that I've personally experienced. Omar, you've got a couple too, right?
I got a couple, definitely. I definitely uh, been wanting to chase certain things, but no luck to no avail as of now. But I have definitely had some experiences that fall under, I guess you want to call it the weird category. It's definitely not, um, your everyday occurrences. So,
Well, that's what started it too. I mean, the equipment, because I got the night vision and the spotting scope, all that junk,
yeah,
and you're gonna get some too, right?
yep, that's right. So,
Cool.
you know, moving forward, along with, stories in general. We also want to throw in, investigative uh, parts to it where, we actually go out on the field and try to get some video, capture some things that,
Right, right,
so
right. We want to actually do some excursions. We want to do follow-up reports. We want to. It's going to be a little different because we've got these different platforms, and we're actually going to try to upload and post whatever we have. And we might get shut down by the government. We might go missing. We might disappear, you know.
Well, luckily there's two of us, so maybe only one of us will disappear on this excursion. And
What if it happens twice?
yeah, well, hey, hopefully they don't get us together then.
You got a lot more to I think to worry about than up here. I think, what do we have up here in North Texas? We got Bigfoot for sure. I know that. And Dogman, apparently. There's a lot of
Oh, I read.
encounters
Yeah,
too. Yeah. Yeah, we've had some good conversations on that too.
we
But
have.
oh yeah, we can touch base on everything, ghosts and whatnot. But that's, like Omar said, that's the big thing, is it's gonna be different because we're gonna actually, like, I'm gonna plan to go out to Goatman's Bridge pretty soon and spend a couple of days at night out there and record whatever I can. I'm trying to get some EVP material too, to see if there's anything that triggers out there. You've heard of that Goatman's Bridge?
I actually have not.
Okay, so Goatman's Bridge is, they call it Goatman's Bridge, but I don't think there's ever been evidence of a goat man or whatnot, but it's supposed to be haunted. It was built way back in the day, and the bridge is dilapidated. It's like a hazard right now, and it's about 2.5 miles from where I live, and it's kind of in the wooded areas up here, almost by Oklahoma, by Aubrey, Texas, and
Mhm.
people say that if they park their vehicles there at night, or if they're there at night, that it's haunted, that they'll feel people pushing them to go across the bridge. Like they'll feel
Okay.
that force, that presence, or whatever. People have found handprints on their vehicles, the windows. Uh, like the dusty handprints on the cars.
Yeah.
So pretty much haunted, paranormal. The bridge used to be there as a hanging point back in the day when they would still lynch and hang people. And so they say that a lot of the victims of that still haunt that bridge.
Wow.
Why they call it Goatman's Bridge, I don't know. That would be kind of cool if there was a goatman involved too, but
But
I say that until I see a goatman, then I need a new pair of shorts. But okay, so
but yeah, no, I think it'd be exciting, interesting, entertaining. I myself have plans to go up to New Mexico. Me and you talked about it, Drew. Basically up there to the Cosmic Campground.
yes,
Um,
yes,
just go out there for a couple of days with my high definition camera. The sky, for one, is unbelievable, out there. So I'm going to leave it running overnight, and obviously, share it with you, and maybe, we can see any weirdness going on in the sky. At the least, it's a great
that's,
view. You can see
yeah,
the Milky Way
that's
from
that's
there.
cool. You going out there with Edgar and Frank, or are you going solo, or take
Solo, actually,
let's go
solo.
solo?
Yeah,
So
just like kind of specifically for this. Yeah. Just probably just gonna be an overnight. It's about a 3.5 hour drive for me. It's getting a little cold and whatnot, and our schedules, it's hard to kind of get together where we can do something like that. I know that we have plans to go in as a group, for camping at a later time, but for some reason I've been in the back of my head that I need to get out there. Now
yeah,
that I have that equipment, just
yeah,
to, leave it
nice,
filming overnight. So
awesome. Do you have any night vision yet, or not yet?
not yet, but I will pick some up before I head up there. I'm planning on going up there in about 3 weeks.
Oh, so you are going to get some for the Cosmic Canyon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's going to be nice. That'll be interesting to see.
And I
What
mean, let me
you
tell you, that Cosmic Campground is nothing but desert flatlands. I mean, you can a lot of shrubs and bushes, but you can at night, that night vision will be able to, see for quite some distance. So
you'll
that
be able to see either the skinwalkers there, or the meth heads that are trying to rob you at
either
night.
or,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
So, okay,
or the cows that are out there
and the meth heads trying to
trying to hit the
inappropriate with
cows,
the cows. Yeah,
or maybe
uh,
hump them.
yeah,
Who
gnawing
knows?
on a cow's leg. Gotcha. Awesome. Yeah, that's true too, man. You gotta. I mean, a lot of times these unexplained things, they're explainable by weird people on drugs. You know,
Oh, absolutely.
you never
Yeah.
know. But that's the whole point, is trying to get to the bottom of things and figure out the truth. And with that segue, I can lead into my story about what happened with me up in New Mexico with the UFO encounter. And I call it my forest fire story, and I'll go ahead and get into this because for years and years I'm trying to find an explanation and I can't. And you've been there.
Yeah.
I
I
took you
have.
up
Oh,
there.
it's no lake. Yep.
Yeah. Fortunately, we didn't see anything, but uh, this story takes place back in, I'd say 2001, and I was at NMSU, and I was doing undergrad animal science with the guys I was staying with, and we decided to go on a camping trip. So it was probably mid to late fall because I remember when we got to the campground, there was snow on the ground. So we had to set up the tents in the snow. So it was pretty cold. It was probably getting
Yeah.
ready to get off of, Christmas break. And so we decided to take a day trip to this lake that I know of, which is about an hour and a half's drive to get to the lake. And the lake is, you know, the lake, you know which lake I'm talking about, but the lake is, it's pretty remote. It's a drive to get there. It's high elevation. You
Mm-hmm.
kind of need a 4x4 vehicle to traverse some of those roads, especially that one road, Mogollon, that we went
The
through,
Mogollon ghost town, the mining town. Yep.
which that has its own lore,
Yeah.
to it. The whole ghost town thing. I've heard people tell stories of taking photographs and there's ghosts in the background of the photographs or people hanging in the background of the photographs. Of course, when we went through it this last time, it looks like they've remodeled a lot of it.
Oh yeah, it looks like
See that
actually a
part?
pretty nice place to live.
Well, maybe towards the back where they actually have like the running water and stuff. Towards the front where it's untouched, I bet you they couldn't get that land sold by the owners. They were probably, threatening them with guns or whatever, get off my land or whatnot. But there's still some really, really legit mountain people that live there.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's got its own, history too. So you definitely need a capable vehicle to get up to this lake. And so it was me and three other guys, and we were at the lake, and we were in my Jeep Wrangler, and we all crammed in there. It was just a day trip, and we're having a great time. We're fishing, everything's awesome. And all of a sudden, there's this massive looking rain cloud, but that's all it looked like, a rain cloud, a big old rain cloud
Mm.
that was kind of slowly heading our way. And we were thinking, oh man, we better keep an eye on that, and wrap things up in time to get back safely. We didn't even have a chance, man. That thing was moving so fast. It got there before we knew it. It was like right on top of us. It was weird. We were like, what the heck? So we're running towards the Jeep. It's starting to rain on us, and then the rain turned to sleet. Like that, that freezing rain. You just know you're brushing it off your shoulders, and little flakes are coming off of ice. We get in the Jeep. We have to go back down the quickest road. So I had to pop the Jeep into 4x4 low, to traverse that road. And then, can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then on the way down, all of these animals started coming out of the woodwork and in the same direction from left to right, from the left.
Random animals, rabbits, deer and shit.
With deer, elk, raccoons, rabbits, of course. What else? Didn't see any bear, but just like the ruminants, but just a lot of animals. It wasn't
Yeah.
normal. And they were all running from the left side of the road to the right, so across from us that way. And we even stopped to take some pictures of some of them because it was weird. It's like
Yeah.
you don't see this every day. This is awesome.
No.
This is kind of scary too, but it's awesome. So we get down to the main town that we had to come through, and it's a one horse, one little store, main road town, tiny town. We went through it. You remember?
I know. Mm-hmm.
There's like nothing there, nothing there. It's just one main street.
Except $4 a gallon gas.
Oh, at least I
I
think it
think
was 6, wasn't it? Something like that.
it was something crazy, but yeah, go on. My bad.
You're fine. I think the hat that I bought because I didn't want to get sunburned, that little straw hat, that was like $60 or something like that.
Yeah, something ridiculous. The map was like 30, so yeah.
The map was 30 and it was like one-sided.
Yep.
It's like drawn with crayon. Uh, so we get to this town, this road, and we're driving back, and these 6 large military black vehicles, these black semis with the tarps, all black tarps, black semis. You can tell they're military. right behind each other, 6 of them, boom, 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 go past us in the direction we just came from. That was weird as hell. So we couldn't explain that. Like, we just figured, I didn't even think they could make it up any of those roads because those roads are really narrow.
Yeah.
So whatever, we were in a rush just to get back to the campsite. So we get back to the campsite and we're setting up everything to kind of cook our dinner, the beans and whatever fish we caught and whatnot. And we noticed that over the horizon, above the trees that we can see, there's this massive orange, red, yellowish light. It looked like a forest fire, and it was from the exact same spot that we came from. And we were thinking it was a forest fire because it was the same damn color, and it was that big because we were, I mean, miles away from this place, and this thing looked like it was miles long. The difference is, how a forest fire or any kind of illumination will taper off towards the ends.
Yep.
This didn't. This was weird. It was kind of like a spotlight. If you've ever seen a spotlight, how it has clear defined borders and edges where it doesn't taper, that's what this had. It was like a multi-mile wide spotlight with the color of a forest fire. It was weird. So we sat there and we were like just watching this, trying to figure out what the heck it was. And we ate our dinner, we're watching this thing. Well, after about an hour or so, it disappeared. So it wasn't a forest fire.
Just vanished.
Just vanished. It went down slowly and then it disappeared. It didn't just like pop.
So it dissipated.
Yeah, it's quickly. It's kind of like when you turn off a light and it goes down, the glow. But it was gone. There was no residual glow of the orange reddish color at all. It was gone.
So for that.
Right. So, no, nothing like that. So that was weird. And then when that happened, there were these white beams of light that appeared in the sky. And they kind of looked like an airplane trail, but the airplane trails will make them, they'll form. These just appeared. It was like they were already in the sky and they just illuminated. And at first there was like 3 of them, and then they would disappear, and then 5 would come up, and then they would disappear, and then 2 would come up, and then they would disappear. And it kept doing this. It kept alternating patterns, the numbers that there were of them, but they would just pulse on and off. And this freaked 2 of the guys out. They had enough. I mean, after the trucks, after the storm, the animals, and now these lights, they got freaked out. They went into the tent and they said, we're done for the night. Just it's like, I don't know how much a tent is gonna protect you if there is something.
Like, literally what it is, a tarp.
It's a tarp. What like, oh gee, I can't see you because you're hidden behind.
What it is, it's if I can't see it, it's not there. If I can't see it, it's not there.
If I can't see it, I can't see it killing me. Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's really the only comfort. I mean, personally, I'd like to see whatever the hell's gonna murder me come at me.
You can put up a fight at least, right? Or try to. How could you not? So anyway, the 2 guys, they went into, I don't want to say their names or anything, but they went into the tent, and that's it. And me and the other guys stayed out there because we were fascinated. Like, oh man, this is awesome. So we started taking pictures. We had those crappy little cameras, because we were college kids, and this was back in like 2001. So we had the disposables, and we're taking pictures. Yeah, we're taking pictures, and this thing lasted for a good long, couple of hours. These lights that came out,
and then it was a light, but no discernible sound.
No sound at all. There were no sounds. It was complete silence, and there were these lights. It looked like these streaks, white streaks that would appear in the sky. And so we watched these until, God, I can't remember. It was a couple hours. And then, when they finally didn't start popping up as much, we went to bed. Well, the next morning, everybody was pretty much done. It was a creepy ordeal for the camping trip. So we decided to go home. On our way down that long road, and you've been down that road too, that's the road that Edgar fell asleep on. Remember when we were trying to go down to Socorro? We were on that road and we stopped at that little cafe to fill up, take a leak, use the restroom, fill up on gas and whatever. And right there in their newspaper stand, the front page of the newspaper said, solar flare seen overnight. Come on.
Likely story, right?
Really?
Yeah.
First of all, I doubt that that's what a solar flare looks like.
Solar flare looks like,
really? Yeah. Okay, 6 black vehicles going through a one road town.
Well, then, and this is like you said, it's in the middle of nowhere. Where were these military vehicles? I think that it's odd just that they were out there to begin
Right.
with, even if you hadn't seen anything weird.
Right.
This is middle of nowhere. Where would they be going out there? I don't know. It doesn't add up.
Well, it doesn't add up, and I've heard many theories saying that, oh, it could be like secret weather weapons or weather technology. Okay, I can buy that. That's fine if the military is experimenting with weather technology. That explains the frozen ground, the sleet. Sure. What about the glow? Where?
Yeah.
What about the forest fire glow that was there for an hour and then went away? What about the streaks in the sky? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. And then
Let me,
it's
let me ask you this real quick. How was the overnight? So you guys went to bed. Just overnight, was it a regular, at least for you? I mean, you
it
can't
was
speak.
fine. It was
Fine.
nothing happened.
Good
It was
sleep.
you get your normal critter sounds and whatnot, but
Mhm.
nothing creepy, nothing unusual. The only thing that was unusual were those lights we saw. And then
Yeah.
of course, when we were at the lake, the weird weather, and then those animals, they were running from something. Because typically if it's raining or snowing and icing, sleeting, just that inclement weather, the
Yeah.
animals are hidden. They're going to take shelter. They're not going to be out running about. You know what I mean? If it
No,
starts
yeah.
to sleet, these deers, these elk, whatever, they're going to find a den. They're going to find shelter. They
Yeah.
will
And I
run.
mean, how many times do you just see different types of forest animals just head in one direction all at the same time?
Right. Yeah, I
You
know.
know?
It was weird. And
So,
so that freaked us out. The trucks freaked us out. The glow was just weird. The streaks were weird. So I'm pretty sure the two guys that went into the tent, I don't think they ever went camping again. But me and me and the other guy, we loved it. We thought it was fascinating. So and he went on
man,
to go. He went on. He was from Juarez, and he went on to go finish his schooling over there or whatnot. But it's just interesting.
yeah.
Interesting. And that occurred pretty close to like, Snowflake, Arizona. You ever seen the movie Fire in the Sky?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's where that happened. It was right there in Mogollon. There's a Mogollon Rim right there, that mountain range that runs there.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
You're absolutely right. Huh.
fire in the sky, fire in the forest.
Right.
Coincidence? I think not. I don't
Hey, it was explained. There were solar flares. Get over it.
So, all right.
Yeah.
Period. Solar flares,
Period.
sir. Sir, get in the vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what about you? Anything like that, or not really? Not yet. Tell you what.
Nothing quite like that, or I guess in that realm. And it's funny because I want to say that I've been chasing something like that or an experience like that, but I've my mind's always definitely been open, and I've always and then even driving, on a road trip,
No.
I love to drive at night
Uh-huh.
for that. I love the night sky. I love the dark. I love the fact that, you just don't know what's out there, and it's probably nothing. That's usually what it is. But um, I've, uh, I've always, since I can remember, since I was a kid, always been very, very interested in those things. So I do have a couple of stories, but I think they're better safe for another time and another subject.
Absolutely. I'd like to touch on different subjects, and I do have another story that happened when I was younger that it has to deal with UFOs and alien type things, and
Really?
it also happened at this same location, at this same lake, and
No
it
way.
happened with my cousins. But I'll tell that another time,
Mm-hmm.
because that one it could have been a really bad dream,
Mm-hmm.
but under the if in case it wasn't a bad dream, that's really creepy
Yeah.
because there was some physical evidence that we did find later, but I'll get into that on another time, another topic
Yeah.
when we talk more about little green men and flying saucers. But,
For sure.
which I mean,
Yep.
that's another thing too. I mean, all the different species of alien, of
Mm-hmm.
extraterrestrial, or are they interdimensional races?
Bingo.
Well,
Yeah.
we're thinking about, yeah, I mean, maybe even space travel is a bunch of crap and it doesn't exist. Maybe they
Yeah.
use these portals, to cross
Mhm.
through the veil.
Yeah, and see,
A
it's
lot more
funny. Yeah,
efficient.
that's what my story kind of centers around. Is I guess you could say fourth dimensional beings.
Mhm.
Kind of ripping through the fabric of reality. And yeah, which would I guess be considered a portal. You know, uh, because
Well,
yeah, if you think about it, space travel on its own, as fast as light could travel, we could create a vehicle that can travel the speed of light. It would still take you
it would take a long time.
very long time to get
Right.
anywhere anyway. So the only logical way to be able to get there is to bend time and space, and cut through, through space and time to get to
Through
your
space.
destination. Yeah.
Exactly, space and time. Which, if you talk about space and time, you put those two together, and that creates an individual reality or
Mhm.
individual dimension, if you will.
Yep.
So,
Dimension.
depending on how many dimensions there are, I believe that what makes up a dimension is the combination of space and time
Yeah.
in that instance. Because you can have, uh, it is, I mean, space and time make up a reality. You could have a reality where, well, not a reality, but you could have an instance where time is irrelevant. Like people who say like life after death or death, or these spirits like ghosts where
Mhm.
they're in the same space, but time doesn't matter. Time is
Yeah.
irrelevant to them. If
Yeah.
they're like a second could be a decade, for us,
Mhm.
right? And then
Mm.
you've got the other spectrum where if you're in the same time but a different space, like a different location, like same time but let's say it's a different galaxy or
Yeah.
a star system or something like that. It's I mean that's what makes up a reality, right? And that's what makes
Mhm.
up our veil. And I think when they say
Our veil, exactly.
right,
If you kind of buy into the whole multiverse thing, where
so there's so many different multiverses, universes,
Mhm.
realities that
reality.
when they touch each other, there could be instances where the veil will thin and they can
Mhm.
cross over. For the most part, they stay separate. But there's certain things that happen that I believe thin the veil. And then these different dimensions or different realities, whether it's paranormal, whether it's dogman, where it's aliens, where it's like
Mhm.
the people that are seeing, the orang pendek or whatever, these primitive primates, the Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Maybe
Mhm.
that's why people sometimes say that they disappear into a
Mhm.
portal or whatever if they're just going past that veil.
Yep, and they're there, but then they're not
Immediate.
there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
immediate. So most of the time, I think the dimensions are closed off. And I read somewhere, I heard somebody, I got to look more into it, but they said that there's something like Stephen Hawking touched on that there's something like 12 different dimensions. 12 that we,
12.
yes, that we
That was
can,
very specific.
yeah. And I said, why 12? And it was apparently
Mhm.
only, or apparently that was what he said, 12. But
Yeah.
it's interesting because if there's 12, that's plenty. And if there's more, forget about it.
Yeah.
But just that crossing over, that thinning of those veils, the veil's what keeps us. It's like the median on a highway, that's there for a reason to keep the
Yeah.
lanes apart. When that median gets busted,
I was
and
about to say it
people
doesn't
start
mean that you can't bust through that from time to
well,
time.
good, right? So it's
Mhm.
kind of like the same thing, and that's when I think a lot of these things sometimes happen, because there's a lot of unexplained events, which is good because we'll get into everything. We'll get into the multiple topics as we go on and kind of fine tune, polish, and perfect this little project we got going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
I
say
think
you,
it'll
man? Yeah,
be fun and informative in a way, depending on the person's perspective.
informative, nah. Fun, yes. Yeah, I don't think.
Oh, no, bro.
Nah, I don't know. It'll be fun, but informative, I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just discussing my experiences and trying to throw my theories out there. And you're doing the same, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, what better way to bounce ideas off of everybody than to shotgun it? It could be this, it could be that. Nobody really knows, right? I mean, it could have been weather technology, weather weapons.
Yeah. Part of the reason is
Hardware.
trying to figure it out. Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You look tired, my friend.
And sometimes you can't figure that out.
Sometimes you can't. Like, why the heck does a dryer not come with a cord,
With
with
a,
a power cord?
actually,
That
that's pretty simple. It's a big corporate, make more money. They're
that
in
could be.
cahoots.
Well,
Conspiracy theory.
that could
That's
be. But they used to say that the duendes would steal things, the household things. Maybe,
Oh yeah.
oh, maybe some duendes stole the dryer cords.
100% real, bro. Still happens right now. Probably happened to me right now.
The duendes, right? Yeah.
Yep. That's
And,
who
and
did it.
but and that happens a lot. It seems closer to Mexico. I wonder why.
Yeah, that or even Mexicans, I just don't know where the that could be it. I know I never remember where I put them, so that's definitely a possibility. And we just explain it away with, oh, well, the duendes took it. I don't, rather than, oh, well, I should be more careful and mindful about where I put my, but, you know, that's one theory.
It is what it is. True that. All right. Well, I guess we'll conclude it. I guess for this time, if you're good with that, and
Yep.
um, for any future listeners or people that are just checking us out, because it's probably going to be friends and family for the most part. Just, oh God, you're doing what? I'll listen. Fine. I'll listen while I'm in the bathroom or something.
Yeah.
just to, just to,
Or as I'm trying to fall asleep.
or they probably just put it on mute and then just do other productive things while this runs. But whatever, we'll get it polished. We'll get better because there is a lot of interesting stuff out there, and I'd love to go down to El Paso and do a trip with you guys out there to the Navajo reservation, and I'd love for you guys to come out here and we can go out to East Texas or even Oklahoma sometime and do a little scouting trip.
Yeah, man. Sounds like a plan.
Just got to find the time, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, that'll do it for tonight. We'll call it good for the first episode, and we'll try to get our stuff together and come up with a first real solid topic for next week. And we'll see you later.
We'll see you later.
Everybody have a good night. Thank you so much.